Good day, my lovely grade 11 IT students. Now today I will be showing you an example of how your spreadsheet should look, what it should look like, okay? Now, say for example, this was your heading, but we are not doing this heading. We are doing COVID, all right? So COVID-19 would go here. And then you would have your date for the month of October 2018, depending on the date that is on your SBA. All right? You follow that date format. Now, you must have your registration number, title, first name, last name, gender, age, parish, date of visit, health center type, insurance code, blood test, registration fee, blood test amount, doctor's visit, total bill, and the list goes on. Now, I want you to just prepare here, okay? That's why I'm zeroing in on this aspect, okay? Now, when you are typing in your information, you will type it as CV dash and SJ dash 001, or you can have a different number if you choose 100. Can have 111. You can start from whichever number you want to start from. All right, but make sure they are in order, okay? And these are the parishes. So St. James would be SJ, St. Catherine would be SC, St. Andrew would be SA, and the list goes on. Now you have title here, and title is either Miss, Mr., or Mrs. All right, for the title. And as you can see, the title is done. You have the first name and the surnames. All right. You make up these information. All right. Make up the names. So no two group are none of the groups should have the same information. The only group should have information is the same information is if you are in group 1. And group 1 only would have one set of information. Group 2 would have another set of information. Group 3 would have another set, etc., etc. Okay? Gender is either if they are male or female. Right? Female or male. Age, you just enter some ages, make them up as you go along. As you can see, 34, 27, 36, 42, 28, etc., etc. So you just make them up as you go along. For parish, as we say, St. James, I notice the registration number is SJ for St. James, St. Catherine, SC, St. Andrew, SA, etc., St. Thomas, ST, and the list goes on. All right. For date, you can set your dates, okay? And at the top here, on the toolbar here, where you have number, you click on this, all right? And it's supposed to take you to the format, the number formatting. Now you click on date, and you would see the dates, the date format. You choose a date format. My date format was the first one, right? But you can choose whatever date format you wish to choose. And then you click OK. Alright. Now, after you have entered your dates, you are going to enter the health center type. The health center type is either it's T1 or T2. So there are two types, T1 and T2. So you enter those. And insurance code, you enter a code. So depending on the insurance. So you have double D, NN, right? MS, MG, right? I think this is Magic Shore, Magic Core, and stuff like that. None and Warden. All right. So you make up these. Well, actually, they are already in the SBA, so you just put them in accordingly, right? According to the codes. All right. After you have done that, then you will type in the blood test, whether it's a yes or a no. Did they do the blood test? Yes. Did they not do it? No. Alright, so you just make up those. And after which you would have the registration fee, right? Which is these, right? So, well, the fees are changed in the SBA. This is just something that was done before. But the fees are changed in the SBA, so you will need to look back to see what fees are there. I'm not sure if it's this fee, but you can look back and see, okay? Then, blood test amount, alright? So this is the amount that they will pay if they did the blood test. And this is a sample formula that can be used. Now, you use that if statement, right, when you are making a decision, okay? So, did they do the blood test? Yes or no, right? So if they did not do the blood test, there will be a no. If yes, then there will be a yes. But in terms of this now, it said equal if. I remember you start a formula with an equal sign. So it's equal if, open bracket, K4, which is blood test, right? This is a column. This is a cell for blood test, K4, right? Now it's saying if it is equal to no, I put the no in quotation, and the quotation means you're specifically stating that you want that no or that yes, okay? Comma to separate separate it, okay? And this is really, here is really a logic test that you do, logical test, right? K4, which is the cell for blood test, is equal to no, and the no is in double quotation, all right? Comma to separate, then you would have the value if true and the value if false. So patient info, this was on a different sheet, right? Because you will be expected to enter the tables on a different sheet, and because of this, that's why this is here, okay? So that this is in sheet in one called info, right down here, patient info 1, which is this one you're doing, and you have a colon there, and then you have the absolute formula, which is $B, $10, all right? And that's the cell that the number is in, right? And then you comma, value if false, 1,045, and that's the amount that they will pay for blood tests. And then you close the bracket, okay? And when you're finished, you press the enter, and then it will look like this. So you will get your answer here, okay? After which, you go to doctor's visit. Did they visit the doctor? All right, yes or no. So, go to doctor's visit. You still have a if statement, because you need to know who visits the doctor and who have health insurance and so forth, right? So you say equal if, open bracket, I4, and I4 is the health type, okay? So this is T1, right? So if I4 is equal to T1, and remember it must be, when you specifically want something, it must be in double quotation, comma, and then you have the amount, which is 1,550, comma 2,500, and then you close the bracket. So remember, the T1, I think T1 is was 1,550 and T2 2,500. Now it depends on what you are seeing on your question paper. Alright, for the type, the L type, then you put in those numbers right here, and then you close the bracket and you enter. After which you will have a total bill now, and this is now an addition for your adding the registration fee along with the blood test along with the doctor's visit. Alright, and that's where you have equal sum, and you use sum for when you're adding that, the sum function. Okay, open bracket L4, you can click on these as you go along. L4, comma M4, comma N4, or you can just simply do it like this. Let me take out that. Equal sum registration fee, and then you drag it over, right? That's called autofill, and then you will have the cell address there, which is L42 and 4, and then you click OK. You will still get the same response, the same answer. Okay? Alright, let me see if I can go a bit further. Yeah, let me just go a bit further. Okay, now we have the insurance coverage, alright, and the patient bills. Now, the insurance coverage, you will still have to do an if statement for this. Okay, so you're saying equal if J4, which is the insurance code here, is equal to D03, and you must put it in double quotation again, comma 04, which is the total bill, right, times the patient info 1, which is what is on the next page, and I will show you how to do that. Okay, and you put a comma, and then you have another, you add another if. Okay, and it continues as you go along, but I will show you this part, right, because you know, you might not understand it fully, so I will show you this part as we go along. And because you have 3 open brackets, 4 open brackets, you must have 4 closed brackets. Okay, all right then. Now moving on, then you have the patient bill, which is, then you have the patient bill, which is 04, which is the total bill. Hold on, come on, please. Hold on. Which is the total bill minus the insurance coverage, right? And that is how you find the patient's bill. But students, as we go along, you will get there. Okay, so that is just a little overview of what you are required to do. All right, so see you in class on Monday.